How you doing, everyone? Novabug here. It's Foursome time again. The death stare. I shouldn't do that. I'm staring into a light. Yes, it's Foursome time again. That's the devil horns. There's four. This is September's edition of the Friday Foursome, and I've got a very open question this time. You can take this one any way you want, so hopefully it will get a fair few responses. So for the last foursome we talked about gaming magazines. Now time in August seems to have absolutely flown by so quick. I don't even think that 4 weeks has passed, but it has. 4 weeks has passed really quickly. And we got just five responses to the last foursome talking about gaming magazines. But then five were very high quality five, so there you go, that's good stuff. We had Yellowbelly coming in with the first response. We had Crow continuing, of course, with his response. Lucas Rainford, very welcome to see his response. And very welcome to see Lawn Boys Post 1975 make an excellent response. Really enjoyed that. And of course, Electric Adventures. So there's your five entrants, and thank you one and all for responding to the Friday Foursome. I do hope you enjoyed it. But this one, hang on, let's talk about the winner first. So the winner for me, now this is between two people for me, very close. Obviously they both got equal amount of votes on the Facebook page, but I went with the ones that I liked, the choices that I really sort of like had a bit of a bond with, and that's Yellowbelly. Phil, congratulations mate, you're the winner of the Friday Foursome. I love that you talked about Meme Machines. You particularly talked about the GX4000 on the cover of Meme Machines, something very rarely people really talk about. Because yeah, for a couple of months the GX4000 was pride of place on the front of the Meme Machines, and I started collecting Meme Machines at that point. When the machine failed, I stopped reading Meme Machines. I used to pick up a copy of Meme Machines and hopefully thinking that they're going to talk about a GX4000 game, but alas, that never happened. He also talked about Amtix as well. And was it home computing as well? I remember that vaguely. And CVG. Many people talked about CVG. Lawn Boy talked about CVG as well. Really enjoyed that talk as well. He talked about Meme Machines as well, funnily enough. So this is why I was very close between Yellowbelly and Lawn Boy, but I'm going with Yellowbelly. So thank you very much, sir, for your response. So this foursome, peace man, is going to be a bit of a surprise for you, because that's what it's all about. Surprises, gaming surprises, something that you didn't expect was going to happen. Now this is, like I said, a very open question. You can interpret this any which way you want. Now you could either talk about the release of a game, the release of a console, the port of a game, the development of a game, the rumoured development of a game, the plot line of a story, the quality of a game, anything like that that surprised you, that you weren't expecting to be, oh wow, either bad or good, mostly on a good way I'm imagining, but good surprises, or maybe a gift, a surprise gift from a friend or a family for a Christmas present or something like that. We talked about Christmas present before on a previous Friday Foursome, but it's not specifically about that, it's about surprises in general. So I'll start off with the Amstrad GX4000. It was an absolute shock to me when that was announced at the end of 90, when that cover of the Amstrad Action came out, that simply stunning cover, which is behind me. That was just what? I had my Amstrad for years. You know, like I said, I had my Amstrad since '86. And 4 years, lovely gaming, brilliant, loved it. Never thought it would turn into a console, because at that point the consoles were starting to really pick up momentum. My friend had an Master System and stuff like that. But the fact that Amstrad were bringing out a console was just an absolute shocker to me. And I was snowballed by it. I was totally blown away by it, and of course sucked in. Alan Sugar sucked me in. That sounds wrong, but he's not that way. Yeah. Total surprise. It wasn't a surprise that it died, it was a disappointment. We talked about gaming disappointments before, again on the previous Friday Foursome. Now I'm making a lot of cool callbacks here, aren't I? But yeah, total surprise that ever happened. And we're staying with the Amstrad, another surprise, and this is an ongoing surprise. This is what I said about you can take this question anywhere you want. Is the amount of games that I'm still discovering that I've never played, never seen, and on the Amstrad, and play them and thinking, how the hell did I miss this back in the day? This is amazing. And you know, there are a few footnotes. These are games that I've discovered in the last 10 years that I never knew back in then. And you know, Island of Dr. Destructo was one of them. How good the Ghosts and Goblins, I never really appreciated how, you know, it was pretty good back in the day. Obviously, like R-Type, when that came out, the remake of R-Type, that's slightly different, a bit of a different surprise, because I've got another one like that as well in a minute. But yeah, budget games I never knew existed that were really good. Really good games that I knew existed. Another one is games that I knew existed on the Amstrad, but I'd never played. Somehow I've managed to miss them, played them, and then realised how bloody damn good they were. You know, and I totally missed them. So it's still, that's an ongoing sort of surprise factor. You know, when I come across a new title, we'll watch a lot of Amstrad videos, of course, and there's always another title that I come across and thinking, well, I've never heard of that. That's surprisingly good, or something that's surprisingly bad. You know, it's an ongoing sort of a shock factor for someone who's been like with Amstrad for so long. You know, 34 years plus. I've been with the Amstrad, and I'm still discovering games today that are surprising me and how good they were back then. My fourth would be, again leading on to this, would be the absolutely amazement of Pinball Dreams. So this is the Batman Group BG Games. When they announced they were originally going to be developing a port of Pinball Dreams to the Amstrad. This is going back 4 years now. I was thought, yeah, that's a good idea, and you know, my Amiga friends always said it was a fine pinball game. I never for once thought it would be absolutely as incredible as it is, and it really is an absolute achievement to get that amount of just everything, get that amount of game out of an Amstrad is incredible. It's still surprising when I put it on now. It still surprises me how good it is. There you go. That's the strength of that surprise. You're thinking, how are they doing? How is the trickery that they're doing here? The cleverness of the coding to get everything moving so well, to make it look and sound so good. I'm really sort of gushing here, aren't I? But it's still a surprise to this day that game exists. And to be honest, they're probably going to top that with when they finally get on to releasing Vespertino, which looks in the stills and the screenshots amazing. But I'd love to see what happens when that's released and I can get to play it. So you know who I am, BGM Games. You know who I am, guys. And finally, this is going away from the Amstrad, because that's three surprises about the Amstrad now, but I'm going to talk about a different one now. And this was my jump into basically floating polygons, 3D graphics, that kind of thing. I'd never experienced that really, outside of, you know, wireframe stuff, vector graphics in the arcade. Never really experienced it. And the first time, and it's not a very good game, this, when you look back on it now, it's not aged very well. But at the time, I think it must have been it would have been 95. At the time, I went down to my local Debenhams, and they had a demo cabinet, 2 demo cabinets of the Sony PlayStation. And I was actually very resistant to the PlayStation initially. I was so into my Super Nintendo at the time. I'd gone, you know, by that point I still had my CPC, but I wasn't really using it, and I was really into my SNES. And I was very resistant to Sony entering the market, and I was like, no, I don't think this is a good idea. This ain't gonna work. Don't like CDs, being on games, and all that. How wrong was I? And the first game I ever played on the PlayStation 1, of course, talking about here, was Battle Arena Toshinden. And I was just, it shocked me on the 3D aspect of it. I'd never seen anything like that played on a home console before. Now, I might have been a bit sheltered at the time and a bit blinkered. I probably was. But I'd never seen anything like that. The closest we'd had was Star Fox and on the SNES. But to see a fighting game presented that way, I was, and of course everything that went with it, not only just the visuals but also the movements of it and the way it controlled, and the PlayStation control, the whole experience of the PlayStation when I first played it was an absolute shock and a surprise. And I was More surprised because I was wrong. I learned a good lesson that day. I prejudged something before because I was so entrenched with the Super Nintendo, and I find this a very key moment in my personal gaming sort of like path, that I'd prejudged something and unfairly, and I shouldn't have done that because I was so wrong. And Ballerina to Shinden at the time, I must stress at the time, totally blew my mind. And from that point, I had to get a PlayStation, and I was fully on board with the PlayStation Sony train from that point. And it, like I said, taught me a valuable lesson that when a new machine comes out, not to judge before you've experienced it and see what it can give and what it can do and all that kind of stuff. So kind of a nice little, nice thing to end on there. Nice little sort of like self-learning sort of lesson. Self-learning lesson. Look, yeah, okay, that works. Anyway, if you would like to do a response to the Friday Foursome, and please do, we want to get more than 5 this time, but we want, quality over quantity last time, I think, but over quantity. But like I said, this is a question you can take anywhere, any kind of surprise relating to gaming, any kind of surprise relating to gaming. It could be like a plot point in the story. It could be like Psycho Mantis in Metal Gear Solid. You could be discovering that a certain franchise is a lot longer and older than you think. It could be discovering, I don't know, at the end of Metroid that Samus was a woman all along. Silly things like that. Anything you want. Any kind of surprise that's tied to gaming, tell me about it. Tell the YouTube community about it. Tell the gaming community about it. And tell the Foursome about it, more importantly. So I will see you next month for another Foursome, and I will hopefully be highlighting your responses. Links are all in the description box if you want to partake. Of course, the links will be posted in my Discord and my Facebook, and of course in the pinned comment underneath this very video. Thank you for watching this Friday Foursome, and I will see you all very soon. Novabug out. Hey, Novabug here. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please support the channel by liking and commenting, and of course subscribing if you haven't already done. If you would like to support me further, please consider joining my bug army via Patreon. And also don't forget to follow me over at Facebook, Twitter, BitChute and Twitch. And a salute to my bug army generals Sam M, Sweet Nanak, Pete Walker and Craig Harrison. Thank you everyone for supporting me. Novabug out.